Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being on time. I'm Sam Rattling, and I'm looking forward to having a free training session with you today, all about effective LinkedIn profiles. If you're just joining, please use the chat box to tell me where you're calling in from and how excited you are about today's training. I'm looking forward to sharing some top tips on how you can create a really effective profile that stands out from your competition and helps you convert profile visitors into actual paying customers. So let's see who's here. You see here. Can somebody just type in the chat box to make sure I've got the chat box working? There we go. Perfect. Morning, Pauline. Hi, Susan. Hi, Felicity. Good morning, Rory, Elana, Pauline. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great. I was wondering if it was all working. But at least it's working, so that's good. We've got quite a few people joining, so I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds and I'm just going to kick off. This is very much about just giving you some free advice, free tips, no agenda. I just love helping people. So there won't be any pitch or anything. This is just me giving tons of value. I have said it's about half an hour. If I run over, I run over. If you need to leave at 10 o'clock, that's absolutely fine. But I may go over depending on the questions that you guys have. So I'm going to do some training and then feel free to ask me questions as we go. The chat box is probably going to get quite busy. So there is a specific Q&A section on your webinar here. So just use the Q&A box if you do have a specific question, and I'll come to those at the end. So I'm looking forward to, I am going to, Ilana, what I've done is I've just set it for the next number of weeks running up until the end of July. Then I'm going to kind of review, see what the numbers are like, look at the feedback. And then if people like what I'm doing, I'm just going to continue it then in September. So you don't have to come every week. You can come to one session, 3 sessions, all of them. It's entirely up to you. My plan is to do a different session every single week. And then I'm going to put all of these recordings up onto my YouTube channel. So if you haven't gone there yet, it's youtube.com/Sam Rattling. So you'll be able to catch the recordings if you miss any, but feel free to schedule it 9:30 to 10 on Wednesday mornings. Right then, we've got people from all over calling in. We've got Switzerland, Glasgow, Cheshire, Aberdeen, a very cold Aberdeen, absolutely. It's cold in Derby too. So, right, let's get started. So all I'm going to do with this one, I've got no slides. All I'm going to do is jump straight into LinkedIn, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to talk you through the different elements of a LinkedIn profile. Before I do that, I just want to kind of give some context to why this is such an important stage when you're thinking about getting business from LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn profile is like your digital brand ambassador. It's out there networking for you 24/7, right? So it's networking for you when you're asleep, it's networking when you're on holiday, it's networking when you're attending an event like this. There could be somebody looking at your LinkedIn profile right now who is considering buying from you, or has been following you in the newsfeed, or has done a search looking for somebody with your skill set. And your LinkedIn profile is going to be the difference between that person reaching out to you and messaging you and jumping to the next person's profile. So your profile is so important, especially if you're doing prospecting or you're reaching out to potential customers. People do check your LinkedIn profile out. Someone that's been referred or recommended to you is going to go check you out on LinkedIn. So it's such an important kind of step in understanding the whole process of getting business from LinkedIn. So I wanted to just do a deep dive on this particular topic, because if you don't get this right, you're going to miss out on opportunities and you're going to leave money on the table. So I just wanted to give it some context before I jumped over to LinkedIn. So you should now be able to see my profile on screen. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger for you so that you've got it here. So there are 20 different elements of a LinkedIn profile. And if you scroll down onto my LinkedIn profile, I've actually got a PDF that features all of them, but I thought I'd do this training to kind of just bring those to life, okay? So a couple of different elements at the top here. Obviously, you've got your headshot and you've got your LinkedIn banner. They're the two kind of very visual things that people see when they first come into your LinkedIn profile. So you want to make sure that your headshot is quite authoritative. Ideally want to be facing forwards, front of camera, head and shoulders. That's the ideal kind of headshot. If you want to put some branding behind it, you can use a tool like canva.com just to put some colors that match your branding behind there. As you can see, I'm in navy blue and pink today. I've got that on my LinkedIn profile, so everything ties together from a branding perspective. So you want to make sure that that is a decent profile, not one from like 15 years ago. You know, if someone's going to meet you in person, you need to look like what you look like on your profile. And I would say dress how you would dress for your best client meeting. Like, how would you show up if you're going to meet your next dream customer. And that's what I would say you need to look like on your headshot there. In terms of your banner, you know, it's again important to have branding. If you've got a team, you want to make sure there's consistency across the board. I don't have anything about what I do on my banner, but that's because I've got quite a big following, quite well known. But I did for some time have on my LinkedIn profile, I did have kind of what I do and how I help and things like that. So it's your choice whether you do that. What I wouldn't do is make it like a billboard. So I wouldn't have things like your website and your phone number, and it's not like a splash image for like a big TV advert, right? You don't want to be doing that. It's not a billboard. Just make it, you know, nice and clear, nice and professional. Again, you can use tools like canva.com to create that. The size and width of that, if you don't have a banner right now, is 1584 pixels wide and 396 deep. So 1584 wide, 396 deep, and you can just create that in free tools like Canva. So they're the first couple of things to talk about, because ultimately people are very visual, and people come to a LinkedIn profile and they are going to make an assumption. Typically, you've got about 3 seconds to make a good impression when it comes to a LinkedIn profile. So obviously your header image and your photograph are going to be key parts to that. One of the next things I want to talk about is a couple of new features that you might not be aware of. Now, I don't currently have this on my LinkedIn profile, but straight after this, I'm going to record it. But I wanted to not record it before this training because I want to show you where this actually comes from. So in your professional headshot, if you go to the mobile app of LinkedIn, so I'm just going to do that with you guys now. When you go to the mobile app of LinkedIn and click on view profile, you'll see there in my headshot, if you look at my video screen, there is a little plus button next to my headshot, and that allows you to record a 30-second video so that you can bring your profile to life. And then when someone hits your profile, within about 2 seconds, you magically appear inside that circle with a 30-second video. So in the rest of the day today, after I finish this training, I'm going to put mine up. So come back to my profile later in the day and you'll actually see what that looks like. But if you don't have a 30-second video, again, you're missing an opportunity to bring your profile to life. Now, I wouldn't really be focused too much on selling in that video. It's more about introducing yourself, sharing who you help, what kind of problems you solve, and inviting people to look around your profile. So on mine, I'll be inviting people to look at some of the articles that I've written on my profile. I'll be inviting them to ask me a question if they have a specific question, to drop me a message, etc. So it's not about selling, it's about providing value and sharing with people, you know, what you can do to help them. You might want to take a walk or do something a bit different, or you might want to use a prop. Like, you don't necessarily have to just be sitting at your desk. I'm going to take my dog on a walk shortly, and my plan is to do my recorded video and a walking along in nature, and it will just stand out a little bit from the average profile video. The second thing here underneath, you can see next to my name, there is a little audio thing here. Now, this is for name pronunciation. So if you are sick of people getting your name wrong and you don't have an audio recording of your audio pronunciation of how to say your name, again, you can add that in the mobile app on LinkedIn. So I'll just play mine, because 10 seconds is actually quite a long time. And you'll notice in mine that I also have a bit of a call to action in there. So here we go, I'll play it now. Sam Rathling, LinkedIn expert and social selling strategist, best-selling author of LinkedIn Inbound, which you can find on Amazon by typing my name. So I've mentioned my book in there, and I've mentioned how to pronounce my name. So you don't have to use just the name pronunciation in there, but you can record that. And again, you have to do that on the mobile app of LinkedIn. So a couple of little features there that you might not be aware of. They're little things you can just go away from this session and implement if you haven't already done that. Okay, so what have we got next? We've got a couple more things in here. Underneath your name is your professional headline. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about your name. So I know it sounds obvious, but is your LinkedIn profile name how you're known in business? So I am actually a Samantha, but in business, I'm known as a Sam. I did a post about this quite recently about whether I should switch it to Sam or Samantha because of the whole, like, people getting me mixed up with being a guy. So I am going to keep it as Sam for now. But are you known as the name that is on your profile? Because if you're an Oliver, but everybody in business knows you as Ollie, someone's going to go search for you as Ollie on the LinkedIn platform, and you might not come up in their search. So just bear that in mind. I know it sounds super obvious, but not everybody thinks about that. underneath your name, you have what's called your professional headline. Now, I don't always recommend having just your job title and company in there. I do have my job title and company in there, but there is a very specific reason for that. I actually target CROs of scale up tech companies. So if I'm approaching somebody that's also a chief revenue officer, I want them to see me as a peer, and they're more likely to accept my connection request if they look at my profile and they know that I also do the same job as them. So there is a specific reason why I have my job title in there. When I'm not prospecting CROs and I'm going for a different target market, I take that out. So if you were in sales and you're on this call and you have business development, account management, sales, anything at all that links to the fact that you sell, I would take that out of your professional headline. The amount of salespeople that I see that have got, business development at this company, and then they go prospecting and wonder why they're not getting any acceptances or any responses from LinkedIn. If you make it really obvious that you're a salesperson, you're just going to immediately repel prospects. What you want to do in that professional headline is two things. Number one, you want to make sure that you've got your keywords that you want to get found in that professional headline, because it's a very keyword searchable aspect of a LinkedIn profile. You'll see I've got LinkedIn expert at the very front of my professional headline. If I embedded it further down, I wouldn't come up as high in search results. And actually, you can get found on Google for your LinkedIn profile without paying Google a penny. So I rank on Google with my LinkedIn profile because I have the word LinkedIn expert embedded in lots and lots of places on my profile. So what you don't want is helping companies in the blah, blah, blah industry to do X, Y, Z, because on the mobile version of LinkedIn, only the first 50 to 60 characters show up when you are on the mobile platform. And about 70% of people are using LinkedIn on mobile, which means if you're liking, commenting, posting, etc., people are only going to see the very first part of your LinkedIn profile. So I never recommend helping this type of company with this type of thing, because usually it goes beyond those 50, 60 characters. So what does your first 50, 60 characters look like? And go have a look on the mobile version of LinkedIn to see how you're showing up, because that professional headline follows you everywhere on the platform. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what do you actually do? And I don't mean by what do you do, but I mean, what's the after effect of you working with a client? So for me, it's about helping companies to build systems that build their sales pipeline ultimately. It's about them, obviously getting business from LinkedIn. I also have what I'm passionate about in there because it helps me connect with certain types of audiences. So I'm a champion of single moms. If I've got that in my profile and prospecting someone that also is, then I'm going to get that connection, right? So just make sure that your professional headline is doing its job for you and is not job title at company X. You'll see underneath, I'm just going to let you know there's 220 characters in there. So if you do want to work on your professional headline, do it outside of LinkedIn, jump into Word or Pages and do a word count, character count for 220 characters, including spaces. That's how much space you've got there. So underneath here, you'll see that I have some hashtags under there where it says that I talk about LinkedIn tips, social selling, sales navigator, and being a single mom. So those are coming from me having what's called creator mode switched on, which you'll see down here. I've got creator mode switched on. Now, if you don't have creator mode switched on at the moment, that's okay. You can decide whether you want to have it on or off. But if you are posting content on LinkedIn, if you are creating content on the platform, and you want to get your content found, and you want access to brand new features as LinkedIn rolls them out, then I would recommend having creator mode on. Currently, there are about 900 million members on LinkedIn. It's going up by about 25 million, is it right? 25 million, yeah, every quarter. So there are only 1% of LinkedIn members with creator mode on. There's about 9 million people with LinkedIn creator mode on at the moment. So you can decide whether or not you have that, but I would recommend it. And when you do switch it on, you'll see when I go to creator mode, you'll see that you're asked to pick 5 topics that you can you talk about, which you can then add into your profile. You can see my 5 here. Okay, so if I did want to change one of those, I can untick it and I can type in a new one. But it says here your topics will be displayed at the top of your profile to show your audience what you talk about most. And you can see under here there are some specific creator tools. LinkedIn Live is available to creator mode. Audio events, which you can run and host audio events on LinkedIn, that's available to you in creator mode, as well as newsletters. So if you are currently not using creator mode, there is also this follow link button coming as well, which is rolled out to some people, not to everybody yet. So that's what happens with creator mode. You can turn that on or off. So I'm just going to go back one to my profile. There we go. So that's how you get those topics up there. Important to note though, when you do select those particular hashtags, what you want to be doing is also then using them in the content that you create. You'll see higher visibility on the posts where you use these particular hashtags when you're posting content. So that's what that means. Another new feature, which again, you might not know about, you can see on my profile here, and feel free to go and download this if you want to. At the top of my profile, I have 100 free content ideas that is essentially taking people to a landing page where they can enter their email address and get a PDF full of loads and loads and loads of content ideas. I have a new one launching next week, which will have 44 prospecting tips. I'm going to switch it to that. But if you are not using lead magnets in your business, then you're missing an opportunity to build your email list. So this is a place, rather than putting your website or a link to a page that's not going to do anything for you, you want to ideally be using that to send people somewhere so you can give something away of high perceived value and exchange that for an email address. So that's what that particular one is there. If you want to update that, you do it through the pen at the top here. You go into the pen, and at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see website, add a link that will appear at the top of your profile. You pop the link in, and then you put the text in there that you want to use. So what you don't want is just the website link up there. You want to have some kind of call to actions like download X or get your copy of blah. It's only 30 characters. It's really tiny, so it's difficult to actually fit something in there, but it will allow you to have something at the top there. Now you've got your followers up here. Now, if you're in creator mode, you'll see that followers will be shown to people, and you won't have that big connect button up there. It will put you into follow only mode. The other thing creator mode does is it switches the order of your LinkedIn profile around. So you'll see on my profile, first is my featured section. Next is my activity, so my images, my videos, my posts, etc., my newsletter, my events, all of those things are down there. And then comes my about section. If you don't have creator mode switched on, this about section will be first, and then your featured section and your activity will be below it. I would highly recommend putting yourself into creator mode, because when someone hits your profile, you want them to see those visual things that they can go and find more information out about what you do. So let's talk about the featured section, because for me, it's one of the most valuable sections of your LinkedIn profile. If you are looking to position yourself as a go-to expert, if you are looking to build your credibility when it comes to your profile, you want to make sure that whoever visits your profile that's in your specific target market is getting content that they really want to access. So if I'm prospecting at the moment, small business owners, micro businesses, startups, and companies with up to 10 staff. So at the moment, when I prospect those people, I want them to see useful things that they're going to find helpful to them. So in my featured section, I've got a link going out to a YouTube channel video about how to become the go-to expert on LinkedIn. That is actually a smart link, which is a sales navigator feature. So I get told who clicks on that, and I get told how long they spent in there, what they looked at, etc. So that's a different thing. I'm going to cover that in one of the future sessions. I've got the 20 elements of a profile, so you can add posts in there that you've recently posted. You can add articles in there, and as you can see, I've got some other things in here too. You can add posts. So if you don't have loads of content at the minute, just go to some of your previous posts and add them to your featured section. If you have a newsletter, you can add your newsletter there. I have one. If you're not following it, it's up in my featured section. You can add articles. You can put an external link to YouTube or to your website. And you can add media, so that could be a PDF, a photograph, an image of some kind. It could also be like a PowerPoint slide deck. So there's lots and lots of ways that you can use your featured section. If you're looking at it going, I don't have one of those, Sam, at the moment, you can click on Add Profile section, and then you can come into here, and you've got your core things on your profile, and the featured section sits in Recommended. So you would click on Add Featured, and then your featured section would appear on your LinkedIn profile. But this is a highly underutilized element of the profile. For me, it's about moving people so they spend more time with my content, essentially. And I'm constantly looking to add value to people, and these articles and YouTube videos, etc., just expand how much time people are spending with our brand. Underneath there, you've got the about section. So this is 2,600 characters, right? Now I'm going to click on the see more bit in a minute, but before I do that, I want you to realize that the first 4 lines of your about section are mega important. This is where you want to ooze credibility. Okay, so you want to encourage people enough in your first 4 lines for them to want to click see more to read the rest of it. Now, I do recommend using all 2,600 characters. I'm going to be updating mine later today with some of our agency offerings, which are currently not on there at the moment, our outsourced solutions. So I'm going to add an extra paragraph into mine today. I'm just in the process of writing it. But 2,600 characters, it's about 6-7 kind of mini paragraphs if you were to break it down. So you want to make sure that as soon as somebody reads it, they're like, okay, this is someone I want to read more about, or this is someone I want to connect to. So I've got things like the fact that we've generated over 165 million in sales for our clients. I've got my keyword in there. There are 7 places you can put your keyword onto LinkedIn. This is another one. Again, put it as further forward to the front as you can on your profile. I'm going to open this up. You can see here I talk to small business owners, corporates. I have links in my profile. So they, on the desktop version, they don't make them clickable. But if you were to go to my profile on the mobile app of LinkedIn, those are all clickable links. So things like booking a meeting with me. I have the option for people to just go to my profile, read up on me, follow my content, and then book a call. And I make sure that that is in my smart links. I make sure it's in my newsletter. I make sure it's on the bottom of my articles. I make sure that it's really easy if someone wants to meet with me to discuss doing business, that I've made it myself accessible to them. So even though you have a contact section higher up in your profile, people don't know where to find that and they hardly ever go in there. So make it really easy if someone wants to take the next step with you to book a call with you. I've had 3 meetings this week where I didn't speak to the prospect and they booked a call with me directly from my LinkedIn profile. And the first thing I ask anyone that I meet that I haven't met before is, how did you come across me? And a lot of the times they'll say, I did a search on LinkedIn and your profile came up, so you must be good at what you do. So if there are 100,000 of me, there aren't 100,000 Sam Rathlings in the world, obviously, but there are lots and lots of LinkedIn coaches and experts these days. When I first started in 2010, there were like 5. But now there's hundreds of us, right? So I want to make sure that my profile comes up first. If someone goes looking for a sales navigator expert, or they go looking for a LinkedIn expert, I want to show up on those search results. And my profile helps me do that. But my profile then converts them to meetings because I've made it easy for someone to book a call with me. So I do mention how many recommendations I've got. I've got over 300 recommendations. I think 3 of them are hidden at the moment, but about 297, something like that. But I do encourage people to go look at them, because if you have a lot of recommendations, you want to shout about them, right? So I do have like ring the bell on my profile to get notified about my posts. So that's a call to action. If you scroll to the top of my profile, you can't see it, but it will be sitting up there where that pen is. When you go to anyone else's profile, they've got a bell up there. If you hit the bell on their profile, you'll get notified about their posts. So if you want to get notified about my posts in the future, hit the bell on my profile, and again, you'll be able to see those pieces of content coming at you. How are we doing for time? 7 minutes. How am I doing, everyone? In the chat box, let me know if you found this helpful. I'm going to keep going, but I just want to know, give me an emoji in the chat box if you're enjoying it and you're finding it helpful. Hopefully you're all still there. Okay, good, perfect. Thank you, Bethany. Great, thanks, Nancy. Amazing, Patrick, 7 actions already, perfect. Your head is buzzing. Sorry, Susan, I'm going a bit quick. Don't forget there'll be a recording available to you, right? So it'll go up on my YouTube channel. So if you need to watch it over again, you want to pause me, you can absolutely do that. So that's fine. Perfect. So a few different things in here. Specialities. This is another way of saying these are the keywords I want to get found for, right? So I have my specialities on there, but I essentially want to get found for all of those. So this is another place that you can find your keywords. In terms of other places for keywords, you've got your professional headline. You've also got a couple of sneaky places, right? So you see up here, I've got linkedin.com/Sam Rathling -LinkedIn expert. So I also have my main keyword in the URL of my LinkedIn profile. You can change that in the pen up here. You can go to the pen and you can go to contact information. If it comes up, here we go. Edit contact info. And then in there, you'll see your profile URL. You can change that if it's got a whole bunch of gobbledygook numbers at the moment, which a lot of people have. You can click on that and then you can go edit the URL of your LinkedIn profile. So that is another cool little trick for you. The other little tip that no one shares with ever is that you can also rename your headshot and your banner, including your main keywords you want to get found for. So my headline, my header image and my photo have been saved with the file name, Sam Rathling, LinkedIn expert, social selling strategy. I've literally, all my main keywords are saved in the file of my headshot and my header banner. So you've got 7 places you can put keywords, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you've got down here, 5. And then you've got also then in your work experience section, I've got the ones down here, 6, and then in specialties, 7. There are 7 places you want to be putting those keywords. That'll help you jump above your competition when it comes to searches, both in LinkedIn, but also it will help you to come up further on the on Google searches as well. So about section, make it very much about your customer, not you, right? So if you look here, frustrated sales leaders come to me concerned they've invested in Sales Navigator but are not seeing a strong return on investment. That is the #1 pain point of the corporate businesses I work with. So if a sales leader reads this, and if I'm prospecting sales leaders, that would be higher up, by the way. I switched the order around. So at the minute I'm prospecting smaller business owners, and when I prospect corporate sales teams and leaders, I switch this around. So you don't have to keep your profile the same all the time. You can change the order depending on who you're prospecting. And I would recommend having some personal stuff in there, right? What do you do outside of work? How can you make that connection with people? People will quite often message me and say, oh, I'm a hammer as well, or I love going to the Algarve, or I'm a single mom too, right? So it's important that you have some personal stuff in there too, so people don't just see you as the work version. And we're conscious of time, so I've got 3 minutes left, so let's go. Work experience. This is also another great place. Don't just have your job title. Put your keywords in your job title too. And you've got 1,300 characters in here as well. So a lot of people just have their job title and the company, and they link it to their company page, and that's it. But look how much information I can pop in here from a keywords perspective, but also sharing with people what else I do. And again, a lot of people don't know this. You've also got a media section, just like the featured section, under each of these work experience sections. So you can see under here, I've got 5 different sets of media, again, for people to use and access if they want them. So 8 ways to build your network, 15 ways to build your pipeline, 20 elements of an effective profile, my next free event on LinkedIn, etc. Right? So there's lots of ways that you can still add value in your work experience section. And finally, down the bottom here, you've got your skills. LinkedIn is going to give you lots and lots of different skill options. You can have over 50 skills on your profile, but you want to make sure the top 3 are ones you've got lots of endorsements for, right? So thank you, Patrick, for endorsing me. You've got lots of endorsements here, right? So you've got 50 skills on there. But again, just make sure the order of them is that the top 3 are actually ones you want to get endorsed for and you want to be showing on your profile. And recommendations, right? I cannot stress enough how important recommendations are. They're like the Amazon reviews. You don't buy a product on Amazon because you want the product. You buy the product on Amazon because you checked out the reviews and lots of other people said they were good, right? Or this product was good. So your profile recommendations are like the Amazon reviews. I use these for everything. I put them on sales proposals. I use them when I'm talking to new people. I have a lot of them, right? But you need to have a lot of them too, at least 10. If you don't have 10, ask for them, ask clients, go to people that you know and trust that would definitely give you a recommendation, and ask for them, but also give them. It's a really nice thing to do. Last thing on a Friday, end of the week, it's a lovely thing to write someone else a LinkedIn recommendation and surprise them out of the blue. and put it onto their LinkedIn profile. And guess what? Your brand stays on their profile forever. So you can see here, I've got Julie and Graham and George, like their profile right now. I mean, you can see how many profile views my profile gets every 90 days. I think it's at the top here. Where is it? It's something like 2,500, right? So yeah, I think it's up at the top there. 2,500 averaged every every 90 days. So whoever's recommending me is potentially getting seen by those profile viewers. Okay, so make sure that you're giving and asking. Now then, I'm just going to stop share, and I've got a little quiz for you before you disappear on me. I'm going to stop share and I'm going to run a little quiz to see. I've got some questions coming in. I'll answer those in a moment. I would like to launch a little quiz. So there are 5 questions. The first question is, how many elements of a LinkedIn profile? 10, 15, or 20? How many places can you add keywords? 3, 5, 7, or 9? How many characters in the about section? Just to see if you're all listening. How many characters in the professional headline? And finally, how many hashtags does Creator Mode give you to talk about? Let's have a look and see if we've managed to get the answers right. So they were all things I covered. So let's see how you guys got on. I'll give you about 30 seconds to answer the rest of it. Let's see. I've got 41% of you have completed it so far. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Raj, you think you got at least one right? I love it. I've got interesting. The first one, we've got a very big mix of different answers there. There we go. I think question 2, 3, I think most of you got it right. There we go. That's all right. It's all good. I did go quite fast, right? So don't worry, Susan, too much. As I say, all of these, the plan is to just literally same day pop them up on my YouTube channel so you can access them. If you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/Sam Rathling. If you like this and you haven't got the book, go and access Linked Inbound. It's this book here. Go find that on Amazon. Linked Outbound is coming out in May, so watch this space for Linked Outbound. That will be coming out. I'll be announcing that on my profile, so just hit the bell on my profile if you want to get told when. I'm going to end the poll now so you can see see what everybody answered. So the first one, how many elements of a LinkedIn profile? There are 20 elements of a LinkedIn profile. I've gone through most of them today, but if you're not sure what 20 they are, head to my featured section. It's one of the top 3 featured section aspects in there. Second question, how many places can you add keywords? The answer to that one is 7. Most of you got that right because we just talked about it. How many characters in the about section? It's 2,600. So majority of you got that one correct. Again, if you're going to create your about section, do it on Word, count the characters and then move it across into LinkedIn. It's much easier to do it that way. How many characters in the professional headline? The answer is 220. 50% of you got that right. And the final one, the hashtags, how many you get on Creator Mode is 5. So congratulations to all of you. I don't know how many you scored. If you want to share your score out of 5 in the chat box, feel free to do so. I'm going to finish up now. The next week session is the same time. It will be a slightly different link. You will get notified now that you're on this event series of the next event. I'm going to be doing that on the Social Selling Index or your SSI score. So next week will be about the Social Selling Index. If you're not sure what that is, you have a score out of 100 points as to how well you're doing with LinkedIn and social selling. Every member of LinkedIn has a score. So I'll be focused on that next week. And I'll be sharing with you how you can improve your SSI score and why it's important. And the orange score of your SSI score is directly impacted by what we did today, which is the build your professional brand element of your SSI score. So if you make some improvements this week, you'll probably see that your SSI score will jump. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you for being here. I know I've run over, but I did say I probably would. Me doing anything in 30 minutes with all this knowledge is always tricky. So thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, if you're not linked in, you're totally linked out. I'm Sam Rathling from Pipeline 44, and I'll see you all next week.